today. The weather isn't very kind with us, but regardless, if we have weather, storm, wind, we will not stop. We will not stop. Today it's been a year since we set up LSA. Exactly today, a year ago, we had enough. Just to remind you what we've been doing, over 40,000 leaflets around town, posters, I can't even remember how many, banners, and all financed by ourselves, a few people who believed in us, and also small donations from political parties. We have engaged with residents, with MPs, with councillors, and also with the media. So proud that all political parties pulled together spoke unanimously against this AQUIND interconnector. Special thanks, I do have to say, go to Steve Morgan and also Penny Mordaunt, as they've been with us all the way along. Gerald Vernon Jackson started it earlier than we have actually, because I only really took it very seriously about a year ago. And of course, thanks very much to everybody, and in particular to the communication group who was working hard all year long. We've had meetings and we tried everything we can. Portsmouth News has been especially amazing. You might have seen in the news yesterday the letter they've written to Kwasi Kwarteng. Outstanding. Thank you, Portsmouth News. And I think what we mustn't forget is that we are just ordinary people. We've never done this before, and therefore we are nervous, and we've had no idea what we actually let us in for when we started it. But we have to say, and I have to say, we can make a difference, and together we can stop AQUIND. Our success is built on our persistence, our refusal to give up, and our determination to stop AQUIND. Local authorities, local residents deserve to be heard, deserve to be listened to, and have and must have a say. And therefore I say we just keep on nudging, we just keep on being a little thorn, we just keep on fighting until we can stop this nonsense project.
Thank you very much, thank you. So you've done your warm-up already, just go hooray again! Hooray! And then I want you to shout, keep on keeping on! Keep on keeping on! Say it like you mean it. Keep on keeping on! Keep on keeping on! That's all you've got to do, you just got to shout, you don't have to sing, okay? I'm going to sing you a little song. We'll do the next bit of that song at the end. Thank you very much. Thank you, Janet, that was brilliant. Okay.
Hello, alright, yeah, you? Hello, Peter. Not a bit like June, is it?
Right, I'm ready. Okay, so, hello, I'm Paula and I've been helping along the way, and what an amazing campaign! A whole year! So, I'm going to read out a letter, just quickly, that I wrote to Mr. Kwarteng yesterday, okay? So, dear Mr. Kwarteng, I write to you again in complete objection to the proposed project AQUIND. Having been part of the Let's Stop AQUIND campaign for a year now, I have been enlightened throughout to so many important reasons as to why this project must indeed be stopped. Our city is densely populated. It is an island with only a few main roads in and out. It will cause chaos amongst the already extremely busy roads. The traffic will be forced to find other routes, and this will no doubt cause even more pollution when it is already subjected to alarming and illegal levels of pollution caused by traffic. And it is also known for being a busy port. That also adds to problems and issues we face in Portsmouth. The pollution levels are causing lung disease and premature death. it would be humanely wrong for it to go ahead. So for this one reason alone, the project should be stopped. I would also like to point out that in an area in Eastney is renowned as an historical landfill site, a dumping ground for our dockyard and MOD. There are many toxic chemicals buried where the cable is proposed to be tunnelling through. This would be catastrophic if disturbed. One being asbestos. A speck of this dust can be fatal. With regards to our very treasured areas of biodiversity, wildlife, marine life, and having over 200 protected species along Langston Shore and parts of Milton Common, this would also be a crying shame to disturb any of it. Nature doesn't understand temporary disruption. Will the thousands of protected Brent geese that choose Langston Harbour as their destination during the winter months after flying thousands of miles need to find somewhere else? How can we trust this company to implement mitigation measures? A company that has not listened to the concerns of communities. I ask you to consider your decision very wisely, considering we are in a climate emergency, and areas that will be disturbed and disrupted should be without a doubt preserved and protected from here on. I have attached an article that is at the front page of our local newspaper, The News. It is an open letter to you and also highlights how the whole of our city is in objection to the AQUIND project. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours sincerely, Paula Ann Savage. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Absolutely amazing. Now we've got Gerald Vernon Jackson next, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out on such a horrible, wet, cold, windy day. It's really good to see everybody here. And we all know the reason why AQUIND shouldn't be coming through this city. It is patently mad to try to put an interconnector wire or through the whole of the city, with the second most densely populated city in the UK, and they want to bring it in the southern part of the city and run it all the way through. Absolute madness. We know there are only 3 roads in and out of this island, and we know that once one of them gets blocked up, the whole city gets blocked up, and that just pumps more pollution into the air, which is terrible for all of us. So we know that there are really strong environmental reasons not to do this interconnector. Just think about Milton Common. We think it's beautiful, Milton Common, don't we? Absolutely beautiful. But actually, it's on top of a dump. And if they go through there, they'll be going through old fridges and letting the CFCs out to harm the ozone layer. This is just so badly thought out. And I have been so impressed with the campaign. So I'm really here to say thank you to all of you. But I think I'd like to say a particular thanks to Viola for working so hard and making this a great campaign. And Paula, yes, right, Paula?
Yes, Paula's here.
But I think it's one of the things that Viola and Paula has managed to do is to get all the parties in this city to work together and do the different things each of us can do. And so I'd like to say thank you to Stephen Morgan for doing the things as an opposition MP, as a Labour MP, he can do to get petitions in to put pressure. But I'd also like to say thank you to Penny Mordaunt MP for what she's done as a Conservative MP in government to put our case. And I'd like to say thank you to the Lib Dem run council for finding the money to employ the lawyers to fight AQUIND at the public inquiry. And Viola and I have been talking, and I'm really confident that the decision from the government is going to be the right decision. I think it's going to be the right decision for the wrong reason. I think it's going to be the right decision because they want to not be connected from France because of Brexit. I think that's all the wrong reason, but actually I'll take it. If that's going to stop the stupid thing, I'm happy. But Viola and I have been talking about what happens if it doesn't go right. And we've been working together to make sure that the council's lawyers are there to make sure that if that does go wrong, that we will be going to judicial review if we've got as long as we've got a legal case. I can't do it if it's an illegal case, but that's what we've been doing. So every step of the way, we've all been working together, and my thanks to absolutely everybody for doing such a brilliant job. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. It's so comforting to know that we are on this together, and perhaps beyond this, trying to stop AQUIND, there might be ways of where all the parties can work together on lots of other projects as well.
From Penny Mordaunt's statement, MP North, Portsmouth North. Thank you to everyone who has been working to stop AQUIND, and I am sorry not to be with you today. The AQUIND project would be bad for our city and bad for our country. There has been a lot of focus on energy supply recently, and we do need to increase supply over time, but this is not the way to do it. Nor has this plan been something that those who look after our critical national infrastructure have deemed to be a necessary or desirable solution. This scheme has come from nowhere, not in response to an ask from government or demand from industry. There are many reasons why this must not proceed, but the most compelling, in addition to the disruption and environmental damage to our city, are the arguments from a national security and resilience perspective. We need to be building reliability and resilience into domestic supply. That means being less reliant on foreign imports. France has already been explicit in saying it intends to politicise energy supplies and use it as part of future negotiations. They have openly stated that this will involve switching off supply. Why would we ever rely on such a scheme? Instead, we have some fantastic options at home, including some really exciting and world-leading schemes here on our doorstep using pioneering tidal power and elsewhere new nuclear technology using small reactors. People who tell you this scheme is needed to power the UK into the future are plain wrong. Finally, I believe that as well as our resilience is suffering by relying on this scheme, our national security will too. France, notwithstanding its plans to play handball on existing schemes, should recognise that AQUIND is not in its national interest either. The arguments are so compelling, and we must make them over and over again. If we win this fight, the arguments are so compelling, and we must make them over and over again. If we win this fight, we will have done our city and country our service. AQUIND should know we will never give up, and that we will do all in our power to stop them. They should take their bat home now. Thank you for the important part you are playing in this, and let's keep up this fight. Penny Mordaunt, Portsmouth, thank you, sorry about that.
Yeah, I love it. Penny Mordaunt for both joining together, fantastic. Have we got, thank you Paula, fantastic, have we got...
and I'd also like to pay tribute to Viola, because I've actually worked quite closely with her when I was in the deputy leader role at the council, arranging for her to get regular briefings from the officers, and she added value to those discussions, and as did all of you, and thank you Viola for all that you've done, and to Jan and Paula and the others who consistently continue to keep up the pressure throughout the last year in particular. But I wanted to speak today because I wanted to take you back to a moment in time that you won't know about, and that was in November 2018, so a long time ago. And there was an article in the news at the time because people in the Milton, Baffins and Cosham areas had started receiving letters and leaflets from AQUIND telling them or implying that they might have to sell their land and their homes to this project. I had people on the phone to me angry, upset, scared that a company that no one had heard of was just going to march into Portsmouth and start taking their property. That was hugely concerning. What followed concerned me even more. We invited these people into the council offices to come and explain themselves to us. They turned up, including one of the bosses from the AQUIND company itself, their PR people and others. The arrogance and ignorance that was displayed in that meeting still makes me very angry when they thought that they could talk to us as a city in the way that they did. He sat there with his arms folded, looking down his nose at us, and it made me very cross. So I said something to him that I remember to this day, and I don't regret it for a second. I said to him, perhaps on the side of the channel where you started work in France, you're familiar with the phrase, to the barricades. Well, I can tell you that if you march into Portsmouth and start ordering us about, that's exactly what's going to happen here. And because of you guys, that is effectively what we've done. We've done those static protests. You've gone brilliantly with the posters and the leaflets, the council, both MPs working together. When this city is at its best is when we are united behind a common cause, and we have to stop this stupid, ignorant and unintelligent project dead in its tracks. And that must not just be on the 21st of October. If Kwasi Kwarteng makes the wrong decision, it will be the wrong decision, and the fight must go on. And if the council's got a grain of something to hang something on, that judicial review must follow. So we must not stop. Do not, if on the 21st of October the decision goes against us, think that's the end of the fight. We have to keep going. We have to tell the government to listen, not just to you guys, not just to a Labour MP, not just to a Conservative MP, not just to a Liberal Democrat council, but to common sense. Thank you.
And thank you very much for the opportunity to share this short statement on behalf of the City MP Stephen Morgan. My thanks to you all for your hard work and determination to keep pressure on this Conservative government to make sure that they put an end to this disastrous project for our city. AQUIND is a project that's mired in Tory cronyism, offering nothing for our city, but bringing with it untold disruption to our daily lives and damage to our precious natural environment. From my 6,200 signature public petition that was signed by local people and submitted to Parliament last month, to the open letter from our local newspaper delivered to the business secretary just yesterday, one thing is clear: the people of Portsmouth are united. The AQUIND interconnector project must be stopped. If the decision does not go our city's way, the council must take the fight immediately to a judicial review. It is in their power to start the work, and start it now. Let's use today's event to tell the council it must do so now. From its outset, I have been and will continue to be by your side. I have written a string of questions, letters to the ministers, tabled a range of parliamentary questions, and submitted evidence to the planning inspectorate detailing our shared concern. It cannot be right that a decision that will acutely affect the people of Portsmouth will be made hundreds of miles away behind a desk in Whitehall. Despite this being a government of dither and delay, Kwasi Kwarteng cannot keep running forever from the main task he was put in the job to do: make decisions. But it is high time now this crony government finally listened to our concerns. The Business Secretary must provide certainty to the thousands of residents whose daily lives will be affected by this disastrous decision. Government has the power to stop AQUIND. It's high time Tory ministers do so. Thank you.
Thank you, George, and thank you, Stephen. I mean, I think we are all so glad that we've got this support, and we will fight it. Let's stop AQUIND!
Yeah!
Let's stop AQUIND!
Let's stop AQUIND!
Let's stop AQUIND!
Let's stop AQUIND!
What do we want? Stop AQUIND! What do we want?
Stop AQUIND!
What do we want?
Stop arguing!
What do we want?
Stop AQUIND!
Thanks everyone for being here, and we wouldn't be where we are without all of you. We have a real chance to stop AQUIND. We've just been talking about it, we've just heard about all the problems there are with this, but I want to take a bit of a human angle on this. Something that AQUIND never answered when I spoke at the first hearing a year ago
was, what are they going to do about things like access to our lifeboat station? What are they going to do about the loss, the all-time loss of parking and access at Fort Compliment? 3 metre high structures being put up. They could not answer. They could not give any answers, and they could not give any guarantees that they would not cause unnecessary disruption. Because, of course, we know, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to cause unnecessary disruption. It is going to cause unnecessary disruption, not just when they're building things, it's going to cause unnecessary disruption for all time. Every time they need to do any maintenance of it, it's going to cause disruption. Every time they need to access things elsewhere on the route, it's going to cause disruption. So we need to stop this project. It's a terrible project. It's got no justification for coming through the most densely populated city in the country. And we always have to remember as well, this was done for the convenience of AQUIND and of National Grid. It was not done with any thought of people in mind whatsoever. So I do hope Kwasi Kwarteng is listening to all of you, everyone who's been talking, everyone who's been saying this is wrong, and makes the right decision. But if not, the fight will go on for the people of this city and beyond, right up to Lufting, because we need to stop AQUIND. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Stop AQUIND!
I didn't intend to say this, but I think you ought to know it. I don't know whether you actually looked at the documents, what we've written, but we still don't understand why they have chosen Portsmouth, and it's got to be national security or cyber security or something, because there is a route I could never looked at, because it's coming from Barnabas Auto-sur-Mer, which is near the app, and it's crossing the channel much longer than it needed to be. There's a place near Bexhill called Ninfield. It's got a substation of the same capacity as Lovedale. It's only 4.3 miles inshore, and it's not densely populated. So why haven't they looked at this? I don't know. We don't know. There must be other reasons we don't know yet. Okay. Now the next speaker is Charlotte.
Hi, my name is Charlotte. I'm the Labour Councillor for Central South Sea and Labour's spokesperson for climate change and green recovery. There are 3 main reasons that we have to do everything in our power to stop AQUIND. Firstly, the negative impact it would have on our environment would be enormous. The damage it would have to our wildlife on land and sea is unthinkable. Green space in Portsmouth is precious and must be protected at all costs. Secondly, the detrimental impact it would have on the infrastructure of our city, putting more pressure on our already congested roads and cycling networks. We're such a densely populated city and we don't want construction. Thirdly, if the Conservative government really cares about the environment, it would invest in sustainable, renewable energy based in our own country, not rely on energy sources from abroad. We need to invest in wind and solar, not have our city destroyed because of dodge. Lastly, I just wanted to thank everyone involved in the Stop AQUIND campaign, and in particular Viola and Paula, for all your hard work in keeping AQUIND up the political agenda, both locally and nationally. The rejection of these plans is in our grasp, and it's because of the excellent grassroots campaign led by residents of our city that we have a great chance of winning this campaign and seeing the back of AQUIND the good. So our message to AQUIND is clear: the people united will never be defeated. Solidarity. Thank you.
I've got now a very, very special person to announce, our youngest activist, 15 years old. She's been with us on every campaign, on every protest, on every signature collecting. She was and is an absolute star. Eve. Hello, I'm Eve, and I help with the petition collecting. One of the most worrying things that I heard whilst collecting petition signatures for why people weren't interested in the scheme is that AQUIND have to put everything back when they're done.
with the cable. They have to put it back and they have to try and make it look like it did before. This reminded me of in junior school, they do an activity with children when they give them a piece of paper and they tell them to scrunch it up and they tell them to stand on it and rip it and things like that, and they say put it back to normal, and they can't. They can't make it how it was before, because you can't destroy something and make it how it's been forever. AQUIND want to churn up the eastern side of our city for up to 7 years. They would like to disrupt the brent geese nesting area, and the brent geese don't know when it's going to come back. They don't have hope, they don't know what 7 years is, they're not going to be able to come back to something that they don't know is going to be there. And that is worrying. And we know this is going to happen, you can't put it back. Einstein's definition of insanity is doing something again and again and again, even though you know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen, it's not going to be good. What's the point? Yeah. Have a nice day.
Thank you! Special applause, please! Another very special speaker today is, I don't know whether you all know how it all started, but it started in the allotments because Daryl put a post up and he said, this is where they are going to go through, how do you feel about it? And this is what caused it for me to say no. We have achieved something in the process because they are now horizontally drilling underneath, but as Eve said now, you can't get it back as it was. For me, soil is such an important thing, and you just can't disturb it and then put it back to normal, especially when these cables run through and it's hot and it's all sorts of things. I don't even know all the scientific research, but I know enough to know that that is not going to be good for the allotments. Anyway, Sid has been with us all the way along as well. He's 80 years old, and he's written lots of submissions to the examination authorities, and he's speaking to us today as well. Applause please for Sid.
Hello, I'm Sid. Don't know whether many of you know me or not. Right. This is a letter from one of our groups. Why does AQUIND have to come across from France to Eastleigh? Why does AQUIND have to destroy Bransbury Park? Why does AQUIND have to destroy our allotments with sheds and greenhouses? Why does AQUIND have to destroy our protected species? Why does AQUIND have to destroy our wildlife? Why does AQUIND have to destroy our trees, the lungs that we need for oxygen? Why does AQUIND have to disturb Milton Common? Very bad and dangerous. Why? I, as well as thousands of others, love our city of Portsmouth. It's a beautiful island. We don't want it desecrated. There's enough damage being done, and done with deforestation, for greed, killing, wildlife, for what? Palm oil, still for greed, destroying the environment, and wildfires caused by us destroying trees, causing global warming. Why does AQUIND have to destroy our city or our country? Why? Oh, we've got another why. Why would you, Sir Cartland, Secretary of State, would you condone such ludicrous projects with AQUIND? It would cause such heartache and death as ambulances. Fire services won't be able to get through gridlocked traffic, as we have only one hospital for all our surrounding area for miles. Please don't make the wrong choice. As I see it, it's the people of Great Britain voted the government in office, and the people of this country expect the same from the government, to have the best interests at heart for the public, not take bribes from foreign countries and benefit themselves, and to hell with the public. If you have any decency, Mr. Cartwright, you will not grant AQUIND their interconnector, as I heard that an interconnector in Kent went up in flames. Is this what can happen to them? We don't need this.
Thank you, Sid. Let's stop AQUIND. Let's stop AQUIND. The next speaker actually came down particularly to me one day to the allotment. He wanted to meet us and he wanted to know more about it. You all have to turn around now because Stephen is behind you in a wheelchair. We thought early on we would be speaking from the top, so he's going to take a megaphone and going to say a few words how he feels and what he thinks about the project.
Right, this is what I've got, my short speech. No to AQUIND! No to AQUIND! Boy, AQUIND must now come to Portsmouth and surrounding areas. This company is immoral and corrupt. They must not come to a highly congested city, rip up and destroy the countryside, wildlife habitat, i.e. the Brent geese countryside, which the wanton destruction would cause years of disruption for future generations to come. So, AQUIND, go away! Don't come back here in the future any other day soon, for all our sakes.
Thank you, Stephen. Fabulous. Thank you.
Hello, so I'm Ali. I just really think we need to stop this. It cannot happen to our city. We all know the devastation it's going to cause to our green space, ripping up Raspberry Park, allotments, Milton Common, etc. We all know that there's asbestos buried deep down in that land and the health implications that will have should it be disturbed. I keep hearing from people, it won't affect us, it's only those over in the east. Wrong. It's going to affect the whole of Portsmouth purely because we all know we've got 3 main roads in and out, one being the Eastern Road. If that's stopped with AQUIND for months and months on end, there will be chaos, our roads will be gridlocked, people won't be able to get to see friends, family, they'll have challenges going to the shops, going to sports, taking kids to their sporting activities, going to Fratton Park, which is a passion for many of us, etc, etc. It cannot happen. The other really huge concern of mine is how it is going to impact the 999 services. If you have a fire, you know, can you imagine the devastation of the fire is stuck in the chaos caused by AQUIND? If you need a police, you know, if you phone the police, they're needed for an emergency. They won't be able to get through to you. If you need to phone an ambulance, if, you know, you, yourself, your loved one, if you've had a stroke or a heart attack, you need to be the paramedics, you need that thrombolytic in you, you need to get to QA, otherwise your outcome will be poor. And also, if you don't get the medication that you need within a timely manner, you have that possibility that we could have increased deaths due to AQUIND. This cannot happen, it must stop. If it's allowed to go ahead, it will totally rip out the lungs of our lovely island city. Let's stop AQUIND!
Let's stop AQUIND!
Now the next speaker, thank you first of all, Ali. Thank you so much for volunteering as well. It takes a lot of guts to speak in front of a big...
Hi everybody, so many reasons that AQUIND shouldn't go ahead. I just want to talk about one, and that's the gridlock that it will bring to our city. Now, if you object, your local person objects to something in their neighbourhood, you get accused of being a NIMBY and caring about what happens in your backyard. Well, I do care about what happens in my backyard, because my backyard is the Eastern Road in Farlington. It's right at the bottom of my garden, and as we've heard, it's a road that AQUIND wants to dig up for months and months and months. Now, I've lived there for over 30 years, and I have seen how the smallest thing can cause the biggest tailback. It just takes an accident, a breakdown, some traffic works, or a big event like Pompey at Home or Victorious. And that can result in traffic very quickly, backing all the way up to the A3M, all the way down to the M27, and it clogs up all those other roads into the city. Very quickly, it's impacting Hammond, Hayling Island, Emsworth, Bareham, Widley, Waterlooville. I see it all the time. And we've all seen the last week those interviews with people caught up in traffic queues because they couldn't get petrol. And we've heard that you have people who can't get
to hospital appointments, medics who can't get, and carers who can't get to people who need their help, workers who can't get to work, deliveries that can't be done, and children and students and teachers who can't get into schools. So that's affecting businesses, it's affecting healthcare, and it's affecting education. And God knows there are 3 sectors who've had it pretty bad and had too much to deal with over the last 2 years. So just as they are struggling to recover, can they really afford the impact of the disruption that closing one of our major roads and snagging up the others would do? I think not. And unlike those other things I've mentioned that cause disruption, accidents and breakdowns, well, they can be helped, they're unpredictable. Roadworks, well, they're necessary to keep the roads in good repair. Or those big events, well, they bring joy to the people of Portsmouth and they bring money to the local economy. But AQUIND, unlike those, it isn't necessary, it is avoidable, and it sure ain't going to bring any joy to the people of Portsmouth. Because the only people that's going to benefit is to make rich. So for me it comes down to this: AQUIND can bring Portsmouth to a stop, or Portsmouth can stop AQUIND. And that's why I say no, not in my backyard, no, not in our city, and no to AQUIND full stop. Thank you.
Okay then, I do want your participation in this, if that's possible. Yes, so we're part of the grassroots campaign, as most of you, and what we want to do is, our objective is to raise awareness. And I think we have done that, but there are still people out there who do not know how close they are to having a bulldozer on the outside of their house or on their property. AQUIND have targeted, I've been told to say targeted donations, there might be another way of saying that, to powerful people, as Jan has just said, to make this a national significant infrastructure project, which means we are mute. But we won't be quiet. Our objections have been ignored. Portsmouth City Council, Hampton Borough Council, East Hants, Winchester Council, Hampshire County Council, the environmental groups, the University of Portsmouth, all our MPs, all our councillors, just ignored. But we here know that this is not a done deal. And we say to AQUIND, not on our watch. What do we say to AQUIND? Not on our watch. Portsmouth have been very active, thanks to AQUIND, and we have been very lucky to have Gerald Vernon Jackson, leader of our Portsmouth City Council, who has been staunchly against this since 2018. We're lucky to have our MP for Portsmouth North, Penny Morden, who's written an online petition, Johnson, business secretary, objecting, and is still working hard against her own party to stop this debacle. We are very lucky to have the MP for Portsmouth South, Stephen Morgan, who organised the People's Petition, and we managed to get 6,200 signatures.
The shipping Frank Park is here today. Thank you. I'll just state 3 things. One is the allotments. As we've heard today, allotments to many older people particularly are sacred places, and during lockdown they've been so important to our lives. So going through the allotments, that is an insult, and it's a horrible idea. So one, don't go through the allotments. Secondly, as already Jared has said, Milton Common, they haven't got a clue what is under Milton Common. In 1993, we did a survey of contaminated land in Portsmouth, and there's all sorts of things under Milton Common. And I must make an admission to you today. In 1965, I drove my Hillman Gazelle onto Milton Common. It was a landfill site. We were encouraged to take our rubbish there. My Hillman Gazelle is lying there.
Oh no! Oh no!
They haven't a clue what is under Milton Common. What happens if they start dredging up all this stuff? And the third point, friends, is this is such a dodgy deal.
Thanks a lot. Great weather we've had today. So my name's Tim Chairman Chase. I'm from Let Poppy Breathe, campaign for clean air quality and Portsmouth Green Party. So I've learned so much today from the speakers. I'll add just a little bit about air quality. So there's going to be so much construction traffic coming through to get down to Eastney Beach and down to Milton Lake Common. It's all going to come down Eastern Road, and through Milton Market. Now Portsmouth has got an air quality problem, especially in the south and in the west. But Milton Market is right on the edge of legality, so the legal limit is 40 for nitrogen dioxide, and it's just teetering on the brink of legality at the moment. So a huge amount of traffic coming through there, and down Eastern Road, Belder Avenue, is going to really push it to the limit. Of course, and I didn't think of until now that all that they closed Eastern Road, that's going to be diverted to the city. It's going to cause a lot of traffic, a lot of stop-start traffic. That is really bad for air quality. Is for stop-start congestion. It's going to cause a whole lot of problems. Now, air quality is an invisible problem. That's why a lot of people don't think about it. But it causes a whole lot of health effects. So from asthma to heart disease to dementia, and they keep finding new and new effects. It's a real problem. So for another angle, we really don't need AQUIND coming along and messing up all that area. And the WHO has recently reduced the limit, saying it's not 40, you should be aiming for 10, because it's that toxic. We shouldn't be having this level of pollution. So all we want is to stop AQUIND and make our healthy city greener. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Let's stop AQUIND. Let's stop AQUIND. Let's stop AQUIND. Let's stop AQUIND. Our next speaker is John T. Woo! John T has been very, very active writing submissions. He's written a complaint about the examination procedure. So if we're on our last leg and it isn't stopped, then we'll go back to that. Coalition Portsmouth, if you haven't, please don't forget on the 6th of November, there's going to be a strike for people and workers at the protest, and then on the 6th of November, we are doing a walk along the city, from Guildhall Square at 12 o'clock. We'll have some speeches, some music, because as we heard today, one of the most important issues for us all is climate change, and we've got to stop it. And AQUIND is part of this problem, and we all have to make sure that we know about it, that we do something about it, and to try our best to accommodate, to stop it, or at least to keep it in balance as much as we can. So 5th of November and 6th of November. And now we've got Janet there. And I hope you all join. I gave out a few sheets earlier, but they're all red now.
Okay, we're not going to give up, are we? No, no, no! No, no, no! Okay, we'll just get your feet stomping a little bit. 1, 2. I'm going to sing a little song. It's about never giving up. And there's a no, no, no in it, okay? So when I point like that, you know, no, no, no. Are you ready? Oh, never give up. No, never give up. No, never give up. No, 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 never, 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 never. No, never, never give up. No, no, never give up. No, never give up. No, never give up. No, never give up. No, 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 never, 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 never. No, never, never give up. No, no, never give up. No, never give up. No, never give up. No, never give up. No, 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 never, 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 never. No, never, never give up. What do we want to stop? Stop our queen! Never give up! Well done, everybody!
Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you all for coming today and for persisting, as we have persisted the last year. We persisted with rainstorm weather, but worse to come, so we avoided the thunderstorms. I think that would have been the highlight of today. Anyway, have a great way home, and thank you so much. And keep looking at the Facebook site, keep looking at the website, and we will not give up. Stop our queen! Bye-bye!